Hi guys, so welcome to my channel. In this video I'm gonna talk about Dehancer's latest app that launches for iOS, both for iPads and iPhones. But first I have to thank Dehancer for sponsoring this video and provide me a 1-year free subscription of the app, which is very amazing. I can try out the whole year for free. But I will provide very honest review even though. So let's get started guys. Dehancer is basically a filmemulation calibrating tool, which is available as a plugin version for editing software such as Premiere Pro, DaVinci and Final Cut Pro. But now this app is very handy because you can do exactly similar things like in the plugin versions. They provide you all the parameters, color wheels for color corrections and filmemulations. It offers a wide of presets and lots, which you can choose from a very cinematic Codevision free to Fuji Color. And my favorite now is like Fuji Color Pro 400H, which is very nice textures that's similar to Fuji Color itself. And I really love the greenish tone of Fuji Color, which I find they have a very nice preset in the arsenal. People might think the Dehancer app is just an ordinary app with filters, but in fact it's like a several year scientific research behind and to provide the best film emulation look. For me, I have tried out the plugin versions. I very love it, and now I just get to know they have like an app version where you can literally do everything, similar things like the plugin. In this video I'm not going to be very technical and talk about all the technical aspects. It's more like a walkthrough of the newest app and how I usually edit my pictures. The four features I would talk about how to create the best film emulations is film grain, bloom, halation and vignette. Those are four main features. But as you see here is the 4 pictures I imported, which I'm gonna show you how to edit those kind of pictures by very few simple steps. First I'm gonna show, for example, this one. So basically this app for the iPhone's version. So if I choose this one and you just simply press edit. Here you can just like dragging to minimize and maximize the picture. Drag down a little bit so I see all the parameters. I'm not gonna show you so much about the color correction parameters, for example, source and developer, compressions, expand, print. Those are most for color corrections things. First thing I'm gonna show you is the film. When you press the film, you can actually have a ton of presets, as you see here. So I'm gonna choose all films and see the differences. You just press in and press back. And I want to go with this look in a film. And I just simply go to the next step. So it's the film grain. As the film grain is very easy to play with. The amount is deciding how much grain you want. If you're going further up, it's like you see a lot of grain in the picture. They're going down, you see less. The size is deciding how big size the grain you want to be. Also the resolution is like getting me more blurred with grainage. So you can play here with shadows, midtone, highlights, or which part you want most grain be visible. For example, I tend to have more grain in the shadows. As you can zoom in here, you see here in the shadows, slightly very nice. Maybe the midtones is, I want to go a little bit lower down, so I don't want too much of gray in the midtone in our skins. For example, in the middle here is kind of nice, and the highlights you can just try to zoom out and see the differences. You go up and down, so you're actually changing here, as you see. So the highlights is quite bright, as you see. It's enough light, so I don't want to make too much grain, because grain usually is like a noise, where like unexposed area or shadows, they provide most grain. So I want to create a more realistic look, where like unexposed area or shadows, they provide most grain. So I want to create a more realistic look. And this is the grain. And bloom is very nice because it's very simple to use. I actually create a very glossy look in the film, especially it's very bright light, so it tends to be more bloomy. Or a little bit, I tend to go to 70. And if I go to highlights, maybe I want to highlight, yeah, a bit more. Source limiter actually to limit, to not go too much. You set a limiter to not clip the percentage you don't want to be too exaggerated. So you normally set a source limiter. But for me, it's like I want to be more bloomy, so actually I'd rather go down a little bit. Let's say 20 might be good. That's the normal. Now when it comes to like diffusion, I want a more diffuse light. As you can see here, is changing. It's become softer. The face, as you see here, go down here and see the difference. And when we go down, there's no any diffusions. I will create more like a dreamy vanilla look. Saturation, also you can saturate how much you want, but I will go like 100%. And for me, I want very great impact, create very dreamy look. So normally you play with like the highlights, amplify, diffusion, and impact. Impact deciding how much you want to see the effect. Also amplifying the effect itself. The more you go up, more you're getting more glossing and more softer diffusion look. I don't want to go too much to be too overwhelmed by this effect, so I would rather go down a little bit. So you can actually play with it to see according to your aesthetic and style that you want to achieve. You can play with all of these different parameters. So as you can see here, this might be a little too much on the face, right? So I go down a little bit here and you can see diffusion, impact. So it looks pretty nice actually. I love this kind of look. And the third thing I want to go is halation. Halation actually is gonna talk to be very detailed about this technical specs about how halation works. But if you want to know, it's like halation actually causing the effects is through the ramjet. It's an emotion layer on films. But normally a lot of films remove it. By CineStill 800T is very popular to keep the ramjet in order to create a very nice halation effect. So I'm gonna show you how to do this. It's very simple as well. As you see, amplify is amplify how much you want. In this, I don't want to go too overwhelmed with halation. I just want to create a very nice outline, red outlines on the highlights. The source limiter I set to 15, around 15, and background gain is slightly a bit a smoothness on 130 is the best. I think between 20 and 30 is to create a very nice effect. So the local is local diffusion is like the lights when the local light source is to create a very nice halation on that specific area. The globe is actually is pumping up the entire picture when the light hits on the subject or the object that you see. The entire picture becomes very dominant with halation. It's becomes very dominant with halations. So it's a little bit too much. So I tend to go down a little bit with global diffusion and crank up a little bit with local diffusion. And also have create more impact on this. And the hue I want to stay in this. I'm not going to change the hue of the redness. It might see a little bit overwhelmed still, but that's why I don't want to create this kind of red eye effect. So I would tend to go down slightly here, as you can see. Yeah, as you can see before and after. So actually this phase is the most lights, the highlights on the face. So which is like the most red part would be on the face. But it's very nice effect actually. And especially when you're doing like night photography, you will have a very nice halation effect, which I'm gonna show you later. So the fourth is Vignette. If you just close it on halation, boom, I'll turn all the parameters on, and Vignette is actually very nice. It's very simple. It's just playing with the exposure. So Vignette is like you playing the exposure, which area you want to have the more blacks or the white points. This is mainly good for because it's very simple to control the exposure on your picture by using Vignette. So I don't want to get too bright here, and I going around in midpoint is a little bit down, maybe would be good. So the difference is not too much, but it's not overexposed. Last thing is very simple how to export is simply pressing this one, and you can just save to gallery, and boom.
The last thing I'm gonna talk about is film breadth and gate width. So film breadth is actually, when it comes to projecting, the effect is noticeable as an accidental changing exposure, contrast, and color from frame to frame as the film moves. Film breadth and gate width only works on videos, so in photos you're not gonna see any effects on this. So I will show you how it looks like.
See, here's the video. I'm gonna show it from the beginning. It's very normal space. If you go to Perio, the further you go up, the effect is going to be less visible and not going to be so very distinctive. If you go as low as you can, like for example, I tend to go low as 1 and drag up the exposure and tone of contrast, as you will see, and put an impact on 100 if you want to see the effect very distinctive. And let's see here. In gate width, it's a similar one. Here's the period translation X, and Y is actually an X axis and Y axis. If you go on the X, I go with period low first, and when I go X further up, it tends to move horizontally more. You see, the frame is moving back and forth on a horizontal X axis way. If you go Y axis, you see it's jumping up and down. It's jumping up and down the frame. The rotation also can have kind of nice effect. Let's see how it looks like. So rotating uses shaky. It creates some kind of shakiness. It's very cool. And that's just basically the film breadth and gate width, how it functions. And normally it's like on projecting film in all projectors, it's like problem with emulsions coding or wrong shutter speed that's normally causing this kind of jerky effect while projecting this video. So let's see the end result of this.
Guys for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy my review, and don't forget to subscribe me because I have 2 giveaways for the 1 year free subscriptions that you can try out during the whole year for free. First come first serve, so don't miss a chance and follow the descriptions below how to get it, and I will see you in the next video. Also don't forget to check out my next video with filmemulations that I did for a show reel. And thanks for watching, have a nice day guys. Ciao.